Welcome to CarePod, a safe place to educate, inspire, and renew the caregiver. Listen in with our host, Dr. Kiplee Bell, as she interviews different experts along the caregiving journey.
So today is fun and light and yet very important. I'm here with Richard Wilmore. He's the CEO of Heart Needs Art. So important that we integrate art therapy in our healing, in our caregiver journeys. So I'm very happy to have you here with me to introduce you to the CarePod audience. So thanks again.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me.
Yes. So tell me, I ask every guest, your why, your beginning, your vision for the organization, etc.
Well, I wish I could take credit for actually starting the organization, but joining it, I have always been in the world of arts and health, which is what we are, but I didn't know it. I grew up in hospital systems because of my parents had a lot of medical issues. I hosted my own variety talk show for 6 years. I was like that guy. I was a theater major, and I met the founder one night at a theater. I was actually going through a really hard time in my life, and I thought, I'm going to take myself out to the theater. I need to laugh. I need to have some joy. And I met her there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I wish my family had this when my dad was in the hospital. And this is so amazing. And so I had her on my show, and we talked all about Hearts Need Art, and she went her way and I went mine. And I was at home, and I was like, I should volunteer for them. Like, that seems to align. And so I filled out the volunteer application, and she emailed me back 2 seconds later, and it was like, is this Richard Wilmore? And I said, yes. So I started actually as a social media volunteer for Hearts Need Art. And I just saw the need of the organization, and I started meeting just amazing people every day and being able to connect people in the worst times of their lives to art and to music. And we do writing, and we used to do yoga. Just feel like I get goosebumps talking about it, because it just feels like home to me and what everybody should have access to. And I'm so lucky that I get to be around it every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you know what's cool too is that there are a lot of people on the clinical side that have this whole other art dimension to themselves. Oh, I've been playing the violin for years, or
Yes.
oh, I'm an accomplished pianist, or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah,
have
I
you
mean,
found that?
yes. My favorite thing is when we're in a room with someone and we're teaching the ukulele, or, we're playing guitar or whatever, and a nurse walks in or a doctor walks in, and they're like, I know how to play the ukulele. And then so we give them a ukulele, and suddenly there's just this jam session that's happening.
Love it.
And it connects the patient and the caregiver on such a different level, as, to see each other as humans instead of patient and the person who's saving my life. Like, that's a real person on both sides of that equation. And sometimes you forget that, and it really just brings everybody together.
Yes, it's so, so important. When I'm out on the field and I'm teaching, you're a caregiver too. Like, hi,
Yes.
I'm a caregiver. I might write you this script, but I'm a caregiver. I'm caring for
Yes.
you. So, yes, understanding that we all need that connected, shared humanity, connectedness. So that's beautiful. So, paint me the picture of what it looks like. How is a patient identified? How does Heart Needs Art enter the space? How do you choose whether you're going to do a ukulele or you're going to do a keyboard that given day, etc.?
So there are some hospitals where we're there 1 day a week, and then there are some where we're there 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. So we rotate throughout the week, whether it's, between writing and visual arts and music. So it kind of depends on the day which type of artist is in the hospital. But we do a couple things. We talk a lot with the staff to see if they have recommendations on which patients should probably like to have us. And then we do a lot of just knocking on doors and kind of, I call it a game show, like, what's behind door number one? And we're either going to get a yes or we're going to get a no. And we love both of those because it gives people a chance to have a choice in a hospital, as you feel
Mm,
very helpless as the caregiver. And we invite everybody in that room to join us. It's not just for patients, it is for the caregivers 100%, and family members, and anybody who's there to support the patient is why we're there. And so that's kind of what we do. And if they say, no, I'm not really interested in painting or drawing or whatever, but well, okay, would you like some music tomorrow? I can get a musician here. So then we kind of communicate amongst the staff. Okay, can you go to this room tomorrow? They really want music, and this is the type of music they like. So we try to customize it as much as possible.
Great, great. So do you get contracted by hospital systems to utilize your services, and then like you said, the patient identifies whether or not they want to participate?
Yeah, we work with the hospitals pretty closely on obviously onboarding, because we go through all of their we usually go through the volunteer services. So we go into a hospital as a volunteer. And so we go through all the background checks and health screenings and orientations. So we do a lot of training before we go, because we work with so many different types of people.
Yeah.
We don't usually know why you're in a hospital or what you're doing, or we just care that you're there and hopefully you need us.
Yes. So tell me, why the caregiver? Why? I mean, it's a rhetorical question for me, right? But
Right.
why, why do you uh, feel that integrating the caregiver in that therapy is important? And have you seen the caregiver take what they've learned uh, or enjoyed in the hospital space at home?
I mean, sometimes we'll go into a room and the patient will be at a procedure and it's just the caregiver, and we'll work with
Mm,
them, because I tell people, like, as someone who has been in the hospital myself and who's had caretakers and who grew up kind of caretaking for my parents, it's so stressful. And I'm sure there are reports that say it's actually worse for the caregivers and the caretakers, because there's such a sense of like helplessness there, and you're just watching this person that you love struggle and you don't know how to fix it, and that can be so overwhelming. And so we think it's really important to also give them that creative outlet in that moment to be a person themselves, because they have to strap on their superhero cape, which I hate calling people like that superheroes, because they're
yeah,
humans
yeah.
and they're people. But they have to act tougher than they want to be, because you're so afraid to show emotion to this, because you're not the one going through it, but in so many ways you're going alongside them on this journey. And so it's very important for us to provide that support for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So take me on one of your favorite experiences with Heart Needs Art and the patient space. Like, what's
So
a favorite scenario you've had recently?
when I first started, so the founder was the one going room to room and talking to people and inviting them to play with us. And I started doing that when I started as a volunteer, and I would get people who were like, Where's that girl? Where's that girl with the short hair?" And they would always say no to me. And I was like, well, what's wrong with me? Like, why? And then but eventually they get used to it. They see a lot of people in the hospital, see a lot of random people throughout the day. And so when you start to see someone familiar, you kind of cling to that. And so once
Hmm,
I was
hmm.
there long enough, someone finally said, fine, I'm like, you broke me down. Fine, I'll come to art class. And so he came, and he walked out and he shook my hand. He has tears in his eyes. And he said, "I just want to thank you for not giving up on me and coming in every day." And he said, "I think I'm an artist." And then, of course, I started crying, because I was like, "You are an artist. Everyone's an artist." And so it's just moments like that. It's also moments we have a lot, because we work with a lot of patients who are in hospitals for long periods of time, so their families are there all the time. And we had a woman who was there whose mother actually moved from a different state to Texas to be with her, and she would come to all the classes with her. And to see them like interact in that different level, as not necessarily like mother and daughter, but just like two equal people who wanted to do something else besides sit in a hospital room, was so magical to watch, them connect on that different level.
Absolutely.
Impactful caregiving begins with you. Become an educated and empowered caregiver to best serve the one you love. Impactful Caregiving offers online geriatric certification, personally curated items for the older adult person in our caregiver shop, Geri telehealth options, and of course, your personal dose of inspiration here on the Care Pod. Go to impactfulcaregiving.com.
Absolutely. So tell me, where are you located? Where is Heart Needs Art located? And do you have remote offerings? What's the vision for the future in terms of other states, et cetera?
Yeah, we are based in San Antonio, Texas. So we're currently in 8 hospitals in San Antonio, Texas. And then
Wow.
we were in like 2 a year and a half ago. And so we've expanded a lot.
Wow.
It's been really a fun couple of years of expansion
Growth.
for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so now really the goal is like, okay, well, how do we sustain that? Because a lot of it wasn't really planned. It just sort of happened as the pandemic kind of started to calm down and people could start doing in-person stuff. But we started offering virtual stuff during the pandemic because we weren't allowed in hospitals at a time when we probably should have been there more. We just weren't allowed into the hospitals we were at. So we started doing virtual stuff, and there were support groups around the country who were now meeting with their patients virtually and had no idea what to do with them on Zoom. So they called us and they were like, can you please help us? And so we started doing virtual music, virtual writing, and virtual visual arts on Zoom. And it became very popular. So we still continue to do it. And we work with a couple hospitals around the country monthly.
Amazing. That is so
Yeah.
important. I do find that the hybrid model at this point is more than likely here to stay.
Yeah.
CarePod is an international audience, so it's important to know that there are remote offerings. So what is the website?
Heartsneedart.org.
Okay. And tell me, do you have any local kind of community events outside of the hospital? Or is the hospital-based work primarily the focus?
We work mostly in the hospitals. We also work with a VA in San Antonio, so we work with veterans as well. But that's kind of where we're at right now is actually like in the hospitals.
So tell me about your partners, your team. What is everyone's talent?
Oh my gosh. It's kind of overwhelming to think about because it used to just be me. And to now see that we have 2 program coordinators and like 15 artists is just it gives me goosebumps to like watch it all, and I feel like almost like a circus ringleader. Like I love that because I'm not an artist in that
Okay.
sense. Like I've done art classes for people, but I don't have a degree in it. And but I'm really good at being like, watch that person, they're a really good singer, or make sure you buy their painting. And so to be able to kind of orchestrate all of this has been really great. And when I meet with our program coordinators, and like it just like I've never had a job where we're having this much fun, but you're making such an impact, and that's what it's about, like making an impact. But we're not the ones doing the surgery. We're the ones that are there to care for you as a person.
Absolutely. And sometimes, I say this often to patients, you know, anyone can do the surgery, right? I mean, clearly you want the best expertise, et cetera. But that post-op success really hinges on the team you have. And that does include the aesthetics and the non-clinical ways to healing,
Yeah,
to approach
yeah.
healing. So how do you encourage the older adult at home, someone that has been discharged from assisted living, from rehab? They're used to several knocks at the door, try this, join this group,
Mhm.
come to group therapy, individual therapy, all the things. They get home and they're like, I don't really want to fill in this crossword puzzle or draw this house or whatever the activity may be. How specifically, how is Hearts Need Art a set aside, and how do you encourage the individual to be enthusiastic once they're discharged?
I think part of why we have different types of artists is because people gravitate towards different art forms, right? Like just because maybe you don't want to paint, maybe that's not your thing, or drawing, but you love music. So that doesn't also mean that you have to pick up a guitar and learn how to play the guitar. Maybe it's coming up with a playlist for yourself that you're going to start off in the morning, and these are the songs I'm going to listen to uh, because I'm in a good mood today, and these are the songs I love. Or I'm not in a great mood today, so maybe I'm going to start with these, but I'm going to work my way. We have a playlist maker that we give to people to kind of shift their mood. Like what if you're in maybe a not great mood? Like what song reminds you of the mood you're in? What mood would you like to be in? And what song reminds you of that? And then we kind of layer that so we can kind of help you through that time. So it's really like on the art side, we don't really do anything that's over the top. We try to do stuff that you can get at a grocery store. So it's not complicated, it's not expensive. You don't need an art studio or a soundproof booth to make art or to ingest art and engage in art. That's what sometimes people forget too, is that they don't actually have to be the one making the art. They can just be surrounded by it, and that also has some benefits.
Absolutely. Are you doing any multi-generational programming where you integrate school-age children with the older adult?
We don't. I have seen other organizations that do that, and I think like that would be a goal of mine at some point. Our kind of age range right now is like 16 to 116. So those are the people in the hospital that we're working with. But our volunteers and our musicians and our artists are very varied in their ages. So we have some like high school freshmen in college all the way, up to 60, 70 years old. So that kind of, and then you never know whose door you're going to walk through. So, there is sometimes,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I guess, yeah, maybe we
Absolutely.
do kind of do that. Yes. Now that you
Okay,
say it.
okay. Nice, nice. So where are you going? What's the vision for the org going forward?
Yeah. Our
You're
vision
expanded already, which is
works. Yes.
amazing.
Now we have to, as a nonprofit, figure out how to sustain that, right? Like
Yeah,
what's the fundraising part of that? And what's the donor management part of that, and how do we create an atmosphere? It's hard when you're in a hospital. We can't be on Instagram live with all of our patients because of privacy laws, right? So like, how do we show people what we're doing to get them engaged and get them involved with not always necessarily being able to show the people that they're benefiting by donating to us.
absolutely.
But the ultimate goal is that when you walk into a hospital and you are assigned a nurse, a doctor, and an artist, and that's just part of the human
The team.
experience in a hospital. Yeah, that's the
I
goal.
love that. I love that. That person is an integral part of the medical
Yes,
team, not
yes,
an addition or an option, but
yes.
integral
Not just
to
a
their
fun
healing.
add-on. Yes,
I
yes.
love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Well, I'm so happy to chat, to bring your organization to the forefront for our CarePod audience. Again, heartneedsart.org.
Yes.
And tell us, those that are local to you, they can go onto your website to volunteer or participate in some regard.
Yeah, the volunteer application is always on our website. If you're interested in being a board member, that application is on our website. There are many ways to interact and hang out with us if you'd like.
Beautiful. And what about remote volunteers? Have you thought about that?
We do have some. Actually, we just opened our online store that has a bunch of merchandise that has patient designed artwork on it. So you can get t-shirts and mugs and pillows with all different designs that are done by the patients. And that actually was built by someone not in San Antonio. So,
Love
yeah,
that.
if you want to hang out with us, I'll figure out how to make it work.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. Yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
Can't say no to help.
Well, I'm so glad that you joined us today at the Care Pod. And again, art therapy, music therapy is an integral part of healing for all of us. Whether we happen upon an ailment or not, being able to integrate those modalities in our thought process, in our stillness, so many ways to settle ourselves or center ourselves, I should say. So it's important work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Great information right from the source. For more information on how to caregive like a boss, check out impactfulcaregiving.com. Want to be a guest on the show? Contact us at CarePod at impactfulcaregiving.com.